Africa historically, sub-Saharan Africa, has been fundamental to the global prosperity of the advanced countries. Okay? And Africa had a role to play. It has a role as a raw material producer. We will not allow sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures, all the global institutions, and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is. And whether it is Europe or US, it's always the same. We need Africa to be impoverished because we need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap. Okay, so that's the message. It doesn't mean to say that there's nothing Africans can do. Of course there is. Okay, but this is the opposition that they're fighting. This is what it's about. Because if Africa does do something different, I assure you living standards of all those in Europe and North America are going to fall. Okay? And that is a big price to pay. I assure you that the West is not going to allow that without a big fight. Okay, so this is what it's fundamentally about.
Hearing Dr. Howard Nicholas say this is quite shocking and embarrassing. And it's amazing how we have been conditioned and reprogrammed in Africa to think consumption, slavery, limitation, failure. And we have been made to believe that the challenges and the problems we have is the color of our pigmentation and that we do not have capacity for any greatness at all. And you see the truths being revealed on a day-to-day basis. The conspiracy theory is to undermine Africa and to keep it perpetually in bondage. And you see this being narrated by Dr. Howard as he gives his lectures to his white bureaucrats.
So why is the West pushing social issues so hard on the African continent? You've probably seen stories like this where the aid that is being offered to Africa often comes with stipulations that they have to enact social reforms that are pretty unpopular. Well, there's a reason for this that I learned in politics, where I spent the better part of a decade being elected, and I want to share those with you. So one of the things that I learned in politics is that the general public has a limit for how much outrage that they have. So if they spend all of their time being angry on social issues, they don't have any time to be upset over economic issues. So if we have an aid package come in that comes with a whole bunch of stipulations that the people find really, really unpopular, they're not going to notice when the terms of that loan really work against their economy, or it's all siphoned out back to the West, leaving them with a whole bunch of debt. Again, it's a typical trick that we do in Western politics to our own people. Create social issues that people get really riled up and angry on, because as long as they're angry about social issues, they're not angry about the financial issues. What we want from Africa isn't social reform. We genuinely, I'll tell you, we don't care about those issues that we say we care about. What we really want is the resources and the money, and to kind of keep them down. So again, if you see us pushing a whole bunch of weird agendas on you and you're like, why the heck are they doing that so hard? Well, now you got the reason. You'll be fighting over these social issues and you're not going to see that we're taking money out of the back of your pocket. Hopefully that's of value to you. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the next video.
You know, people ask me many times, why are third world leaders corrupt? I mean, every country in Africa has leadership problems. Every country in the Caribbean has leadership problems. You know why? It's simple. I figured it out. It's very simple. Why are there so many lack of great leaders in your country among black African people? Or even Mexicans, the Asian people? Why is there such lack of leadership in these formerly oppressed countries? Here's why. Because the oppressor did not do what Jesus said. He made sure you never knew what he knew. Now, these are very interesting people, you know. They're interesting. Here's what they do. They say, okay, we ain't going to teach you nothing that we know. So all we're going to teach you is how to grow cane and cotton. Pick cotton, that's all you have to do. Go get water. That's it. You don't need to know anything else, they say. And so for 294 years, you become an expert cotton picker, an excellent cane cutter. But the problem is, he doesn't teach you how to make the cane into sugar. He doesn't teach you how to turn the cotton into cloth. He keeps that to himself. After a while, you become unruly because you multiply. And so you tell him, there's more of us than you. We're going to kill you if you don't let us go. So he does something very simple. Every single situation is the same. He said, okay, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you. Tell you what, you could have the cotton field and you could have the cane because I don't want to fight you. I'm gone. And he leaves. So here you are. You call yourself free now because you got a cotton field and a cane. The problem is he trained you to wear clothes and to drink tea with sugar. You didn't hear what I just said. That's too deep. He conditioned you to wear his clothes and to drink tea with sugar. And he leaves you with a sugarcane field and a lot of cotton. Sharp guy. They're smart. After a few years, you begin to realize, I can't wear cotton and I can't put cane in tea. So he comes back and he says, what's your problem? You say, look, I can't turn cotton into cloth. He said, okay, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy the cotton from you at my price because you can't use it. So you can't set the price because you can't use it. I'll tell you how much I'm going to buy it from you for. I'll buy the cane. You cut it at my price. So they take it away and they turn it into cloth and sugar. Then they come back to you and they sell you the sugar at their price and the cloth at their price. And here you are now, instead of being directly oppressed, you are economically oppressed. They didn't train you to be producers. And now you thought you were free. So the kind of seminars I have is the seminars to help you learn how to make sugar. The kind of work I do is to teach you how to turn cotton into cloth. So that you become free to get your farms back and know how to convert cotton into cloth. And instead of just being consumers, you become producers. This is leadership. So what they do is they don't teach you how to lead. They don't teach you how to operate anything. And then when they leave you, they say, take charge. So here's the African guy in Ghana. You know, the British is gone, and they never teach him how to be a leader like them. And he got power, he got all this country, he got this, but he ain't got no training. And so we have a slave wearing a crown. Woe to the land when a slave becomes king. Words of Solomon. Now what I think is unfair is that they come back later and say, see, you can't rule. I told you, you ain't born to rule. Look how you messed up your country. Corruption, abuse, you know, and this. And what they don't know is that they are the blame. They never trained me. You don't understand what I'm talking about. How can you set me up to fail and then tell me I failed? Oh, come on, clap. You get what I'm talking about. If we got to get this right. You don't prepare me for failure and then say, I failed. I blame you for my failure because you never trained me to be a leader. It is enough for the teacher to make the student just like him. I guess you could say, my conclusion is, and I say this to all the governments I work with, the failure of third world countries is evidence of the failure of the colonial powers. They must take the blame. And that's why I am traveling every week to a third world country, sitting with parliaments and congresses and heads of state, and I lock them up for 3 days. Why? I got to correct what those leaders never did. I have to somehow solve 200 years of history in 2 days. That's a lot of hard work, but we have to. Your problem is you don't believe you could turn cotton into cloth. And I've come to tell you, you can.
Quite revealing. Please, if you've not subscribed to our YouTube, please hit the notification bell and the subscription buttons for you to get new updates. It's quite glaring that we were never meant to lead. The intention was never for the black race or the black man to amount to anything. It was primarily to undermine the ability and the creativity of every genuine African all across the board. And it's been spelled out in this video. So the issue is not the economic technically it is to sabotage politics, which is leadership, because once the leadership structure is faulty, then the economic policies will always be wrong in Africa and across boards. So I want to hear what your thoughts are in the comment section. What are your views? What are the narratives that you are deducting from this? Because there's so much that has been put out by these various content creators.